Hey there, Mark. Here is your dash. I think I've got it pretty much all said and done here. Um, got the mileage exactly to the mile, what you were looking for, set up in miles per hour. Temperature is set up in Celsius. And if I move my little temp guy here, we'll see that go up. And my little yellow LEDs just came on here somewhere, meaning that the fans are on. When that happens, that's going to light up there. And then also, if you do your fan override and turn it on, you'll see that they're lit up right now. And it'll stay lit up as well. And then this guy over here, you can just leave him turned on all the time if you like the way that that looks. And I will give you a spare pin and wire that goes in this 2-pin connector here. And this green wire, when the left button is pushed in, will become a ground. Very, very, very low level. You don't want to ground really anything substantial with that at all. You're going to want to use a relay to control anything. This whole dash and everything, where it's getting that ground from, is fused at 0.5 amp. So it's not intended to really pull anything with any type of current at all. This is your menu button. Okay, this is your select button. So it's menu, select. Right now we're looking at max stuff. Go and reset. Okay, this is your up button and your down button. So your up button will take you to different screens. So I've got like 3 configured, but you can do more. I think you can do 5 total if you want. So you got fuel, voltage, then temperature. Then I've got temp, voltage, then fuel. And then there's volts, fuel, and then gear position, voltage directly. And that's for in case you have any issues with your okay, so I added that on screen 4 now. If you have any problems with the gear not reading correctly, it's good to know what the actual voltage is when you're driving around. So there's a little bit of filtering on this so it doesn't bounce around really crazy. But so as you put it into a gear, it'll come down and stabilize on something. And then that can be used in the gear indicator software to update if that's required. So anyway, so I'm going to go back to your normal screen, screen 1. So now you've got like 3 different screens with the 3 different variables kind of moved around. I'm going to jump over here and run my simulator some. There's your RPM and your shift lights. Okay, and then I'm going to also put some vehicle speed in. Don't want to do too much though because your mileage is perfect, so turn that back off. And yeah, that should be about it. Okay, so here's everything laid out. These 2 spacers will go behind here, and then the bolt just goes through. So that'll bolt on the bottom 2 bolts, nothing on top. This here is the harness. I've got gear position sensor and coolant sensor labeled. So you're going to disconnect your gear position sensor. Make sure you get the gear position sensor. There's a lot of connectors under the tank that you can plug this into that are not the gear position sensor. This is the coolant sensor connector that goes in the back of the head. So both of those you're going to just plug in line. For your fan override, this will plug directly into the fan relay, which is close to the fuse box on a Gen 2 Busa. And it looks like this. So you're going to pop the relay off, put my harness in line, and then put the relay back on. Those connectors do fit extremely tight. And then you've got your serial connector there with a USB to serial adapter is how you use the Race Technology software in order to make any changes to like your shift light or anything that you want to do here. None of the values on this make any sense right now, obviously, because I don't have any sensors plugged into it. So voltage is reading correctly, but fuel, temperature, and then gear just reads first because it's not reading any voltage there. So that's what it looks like. Again, menu, select, up, down, fan override, and then this is a spare that I give you the wiring to that you'll be able to turn something else on with that in the future. All right, then if we look at the back side of this, there's a lot going on wiring wise. I think I'm gonna have to reconsider how much I charge to do these LED buttons. There's so much wiring here, but each LED push button is getting power ground and then a signal coming back out. So there's basically 4 solder points per LED. And then I've got some heat shrink caps that are on here that are shrunk down. Connector 1 is the top one, connector 2 is the bottom one. You want to make sure that if you ever have to take these off, those go back in the correct places. And this is wired up to just plug right into your factory connector on your Gen 2 Busa. This is a 1/2 amp inline fuse that you can pop this out. I'll give you one replacement. If for some reason that ever blows, you're going to want to replace that there. And then again, these are your 2 connectors for, this is your main harness that will plug in to get your gear position sensor and your coolant temp, and then this is for your outputs based on those push buttons.